Hey, this is Ryan Hillard, and I am here today with John Farrell, who is a loan officer out of Newport Beach, a top producing loan officer, I might add. And I know John through Neil Dinger's Forward Mastermind. We've got to know each other a little bit in that. And I wanted to talk to you today, John, just because I know a few things that we've talked about before, and mainly we want to cover two maybe very different topics. One is your morning routine, and two is colonoscopies. Because I think we
Fun.
both have stories on that. So, I mean, stay tuned. Let's just start out with the morning routine. I feel like it's the beginning of the day, and it makes more sense to go in order. So. First, why do you do a morning routine?
Well, why do I do a morning routine? Hey, real quick, I'm just a loan officer. I'm not a top loan officer. I'm just a
I don't know
dishwasher.
about that.
I always say I'm a
You've been on
dishwasher. Like
podcasts.
yeah, but I'm super, like I don't really like the egos that like some of the top people have. So I'm just like the normal. I'm just like anyone
Fair
else.
enough.
So, morning routines are well, Ryan, as you know, stress in our job is it can be extremely stressful. There's so many different things that happen to us on a day-to-day basis. So my morning routine, my habit, um, I think it came out through college. I couldn't get in any like classes. So what do you do in college? You take the early morning classes. It's so I've always woken up early. I get up at 4 in the morning and go to the gym like clockwork at 5:30. The class starts at 5:30. But uh, having the habit of, as we were sharing before this recording, like
Mhm.
doing the pre-workout, doing the creatine, like having everything set up, it's just habit for me. I can close my eyes and do it, and it really sets my day up for me as far as whether it's going to be a great day or not such a great day. So being in
So,
that habit is important.
what does it? What? So you said like a couple of things that you do through it. You wake up on time, same time every day. Does it start the night before? Like when you go to bed, you have to be in bed by X.
Yeah. I try to be in bed by like 8:30 or asleep by 9 o'clock. There are times where it's crazy because if my wife who stays up later, if she goes to bed early for some reason, God is like, you're staying up late. So I'm always watching her, like looking and going, please stay up. Uh, but yeah, no, I go to bed early. I mean, I try to get at least six hours of sleep, maybe seven, maybe seven. But yeah,
Mhm.
going to bed. I mean, I'm a zombie if I'm up at 11 o'clock. I'm no
Yeah.
fun.
So then what do you do? You said like, okay, I could just go through my morning routine in my sleep. And if you're waking up at 4 o'clock every morning, then you might as well be in your sleep at that point because that's still kind of non-functioning. But like what do you do? What do you have laid out to walk through your morning routine until you like get to the gym?
So I actually have all my supplements that I take for the gym in one part of the kitchen, and it's very easy to grab them. So that like you want to make it as easy as possible, right? Because if the harder
Yep.
your routine is, the harder it's going to stay create a habit. So everything's set up. Um, I walk to the kitchen, grab my creatine, my pre-workout, mix it. I always get a cup of coffee, and then I make sure that I'm out the door by 5 o'clock. It only takes me 5 minutes to get to the gym, but I have to. It drives me nuts if I'm not there by 5:10. So I'm at the gym by 5:10. Class starts at 5:30, and that's like very military for me.
Yeah.
It's the only way that I know.
Yeah, I get that. I am not a morning person and I get up at 10 to 5 and I've just had to force myself into being a morning person because what I found happens is that my gym gets really busy at 6 o'clock. So I want to be there at 5:30 and like on the gym floor by 5:35 so I can have not quite but almost half of my workout done before the crowd comes.
Yeah,
So
if you look at any of these successful people out there, they everyone there's not one person that I hear that doesn't say their morning routine, getting up early, is a huge part of their success, and they've just made it a habit. And so It's working for all those people. I'm like, okay, it's got to work for me. So I just made that decision. I think it's important. But it's a habit. You gotta, if you're sleeping in or all the time, you should try to break that habit.
Do you carry that over then when you get home? Like we were talking a little bit about when you start work, like maybe you don't have as dialed in of a routine to get to work. But I know that, like, do you journal? Do you do things like this? Do
Oh,
you
yeah.
do something different to get your mind into a work headspace instead of a workout headspace?
Well, so I'll do all the stuff to get prepared for the gym. Then I get home, and I have supplements that I'm taking. There's a lot of supplements, which I know you wanted to get into, but uh, so I'll take care of that stuff. Just do the normal stuff, shower, obviously soap myself, really important, right? And then I do my best to be out the door by 7:10, not
Okay.
7:15, 7:10. Uh, and that's just clockwork. So I feel like if you're staying consistent on the time and you've got all this structure on that morning, then you can get into work. And like if I
Yeah.
get into work at 9 o'clock, I've got 100 emails that I'm going through, and it kind of just puts chaos in my day. So
Yeah.
it's important. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the other reason too. I was just losing too much time in my day if I was like going at 7 for a little bit. And like I got home, I was just behind all day
Yeah.
long every time. So, and you can't catch up from it.
No, you can't catch up
But
from it. It's
unless you want to work until 10 at night, which
yeah,
happens sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah. But so then, okay, I was just curious what your morning routine looks like, and kind of on either side of that, and just why it's important. But then what I think we really wanted to talk about too was colonoscopies, which is a little bit weird, but because June is Men's Health Month or Men's Health Awareness Month, um, you did a video on it when you live, not live recorded, but you recorded the process when you were doing your colonoscopy last time. Why'd you do that?
I did it to get the awareness out because I think everyone's so scared about having something, excuse my French, shoved up your butt. Everyone's so worried about doing it, but colonoscopy, which is one of the most curable cancers, and I'm no doctor, but I think it's one of the most curable cancers. But if it's not detected, it could be one of the most killer cancers at the same time. So for me, when I was a junior in high school, my father was having some issues. He went to the doctor. They misdiagnosed him. Still wasn't feeling good. Long story short, he got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. So that really stuck in my mind. And if I'm not mistaken, colon cancer is somewhat genetic, if I'm using the right term. But
Mm-hmm.
if your parents have had it, and I have it on both sides of the family, my chances of potentially getting it are going to be a lot greater. So
Yep.
early detection was extremely important. And I just figured like getting out there on social media would, if I could affect one person, that maybe is scared to do it, um, it's really not that bad of a process.
It's you know what? It's not at all.
It's not
Have you only done the one, or how many have you had now? 5. Okay.
5, 3 of
So
them.
early and
Oh yeah.
often.
Yeah, this last one I didn't have any polyps. Polyps are the the thing that can be turned into
Yep.
cancer, right? Um, so I didn't have any. So now the doctor gave me a 5-year hall pass. If you have polyps,
Okay.
usually it could be a 3-year hall pass or something like that, depending on
Yep.
it depends on you. But yeah, it's highly, highly, highly recommend doing it.
Yeah.
People,
So I don't know if I told you my version of that, where first my mom's mom passed from colon cancer, and this was back in like the 90s, and so obviously medicine wasn't as what it wasn't quite what it is now, but maybe still could have been detectable, or I don't know. I was a stupid high school kid, so I don't know. But my wife went and had hers, and she was like, "Great, perfect, no problem. See you in 10 years. So I'm like, no reason that wouldn't be me as well, right? And went, and the doctor woke me up. He's like, so good news and bad news is that we found a 14 millimeter polyp. And he's like, in the world of polyps, I think that's probably a bigger one. And he's like, but the good news is that we were able to catch it now. And that was a few years ago. I think I was 46 at the time. He's like, if we would have waited until you were 50 when we would normally do this before, we'd be having a very different conversation than we are right now. So we're able to do this. We were able to, kind of clean it out, remove it. We will still send it for testing and make sure that, that it's not a more advanced cancerous or whatever was precancerous. And then you get to come back and see us again next year. And so, I was fortunate in that regard. When I went back the next year, there was, it was clean and no polyps and nothing. So now I'm on the 3-year plan, and I think I have about 1.5 more years to go until I can until I get to go back.
Yeah, see, that's all. That's awesome. It's weird too because everyone talks about it and says, "Hey, it's not recommended until you're 45 years old." But I do know two very healthy gals. One of them that got it and was stage 4. Ironically, I saw her at a Starbucks when she was going through chemo, and it got bad to where she had to have a bag hanging out from her
Yeah.
belly. And a week and a half later, she had passed, sadly. So I think I shared this in my thing. And again, I'm no doctor. I'm just street smart, common sense. Like I think it's advisable if it's in your family or if you're having some issues, it's probably a smart thing to go get tested. And the
Yeah.
process is not bad. The worst part is the prep. And the prep, as you know, it's just you're a fire hose for one night.
Well, and even to your point, so we were with a friend, and her parents were in town. Her parents are both doctors, and her dad is a gastroenterologist. And just coincidentally, he had his colonoscopy on like the same day that I had mine, and uh, he was telling us that they moved it from 50 down to 45, and then COVID hit, and they found such a backlog. They got so backlogged with so many cases that they want to move it down to 40. The age down to 40 is ultimately the plan, because they feel like it is so preventable that there's no reason that you can't. And especially starting to appear in younger, at a younger age. So if they move it down to 40, that's good. But they can't do that just yet because there is such a backlog that they're still trying to move through from COVID and just moving it down to 45. So if you do have a history of colon cancer in your family, then I do think, and again, I'm not a doctor either, but they may be able to make an exception for you to come in, and you should definitely tell them that this is why you're doing it.
Yeah. And I don't know how many butt doctor. I know you know the term, but butt doctors are out there. I mean, it's hard to get in.
Yeah.
Um, so you're probably right. But if it's me between having a prep and having something put in my rear end and
Yeah.
preventing something bad, then I'm gonna do it. And so
And to your point, the prep is not like, you feel a little gross when like you're on your, whatever, like you're just drinking water nonstop. But there's a few different ones, and my first one was really easy, and it was just like I dropped something in and like I had to like chug it. I'm like, yeah, I went to college, I can chug this, so no problem. And I had to do that at night and do it in the morning, and just drink a lot of fluids in between. The second time was like basically drinking a gallon of disgusting
God,
whatever. Yeah, and but still, I'm like, you just feel really, really bloated. Like, how can I drink this anymore? But that's still not a good enough reason to not go and do it.
I don't even know if I'm surprised they still have that stuff. I know my dad, they had that. It was like a pink, like gallon looking thing, and it looked like I don't know. It looked disgusting. I mean, the stuff that I've had the last few times, it's 2 bottles and it's like sodium or something. You just mix it in water and
Yep.
slam it, and they just drink water. So it's super easy.
And I think my
Um,
wife had pills or something like that that she
yeah,
took.
yeah, yeah.
So
They do the
that
pills
there's
too.
yeah, there's another option too. And I don't know, maybe I don't know if this is a funny story or not, but I got my doctor's name like assigned, and I did them at different places. The first one, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a familiar name, but it's like a very common, name for an Indian doctor. I'm like, whatever, not a big deal. And then I think I was like waking up from, just being out, and that's when it came to me. I'm like, is your husband this person? Like, yeah, I did your mortgage like 6 years ago or something like that. And like, is he still over here doing this? And she's like, how do you know this? I'm like, yeah, I did your mortgage. And then I think I made some bad joke of like, now we both looked up each other's butts or something, like whatever
Yeah.
joke you can make at that point, trying to be funny, but failing. Um, Most important question, what did you have for your meal afterwards?
So that's the funny part. I don't remember the not the last one, the one before. My wife and one of my best friends. I went home. Then they're like, "Hey, let's go get some Italian food." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that'd be amazing." We went to North Italia in Irvine. I don't
Yep.
remember any of it. Like I don't remember going there, like because you're so high on whatever they gave you. So as wonderful and as amazing as that food tasted, I don't remember anything.
Yep.
I will share this with you though. Whatever they give you, when you get home, you think you're normal. It's almost like if you saw my video, I was kind of out there. I'm like trying to how your colon shaped, and I'm like they go in, like I was a wackadoodle. I got home though. My wife said, "Hey, whatever you do, do not drive. Do not." I don't know if I should share this, but I went to the office because I had to take care of some work stuff. And then I was talking to my assistant, and she's like, "Do you know where you are?" And I'm like, "Yeah, not really." And so I took an Uber back home. Uh, so just plan on a whole day
You
of
should
just
not have
like,
driven.
I'm not going to say I drove, but plan a day when you
Yeah,
get it
you
done,
had
just
someone take you there.
go enjoy some whatever you like to eat. Go enjoy it, but chill at home.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
important.
after my first one, so even the way that they put me out was different from the first time than it was the second time, and I don't know what it was. And I liked the first one. It was, well, I hated it because they put a needle like in the vein in the top of my hand, and that was
Yeah.
honestly the worst part. Um, but I woke up and I felt pretty good. Everybody's telling me how groggy and crappy I'm going to feel. I'm like, I feel awesome. And I worked that afternoon, like
Yeah.
no problem. I was at home and working from home, but I was in files and I don't think I messed anything up. The second time I was done. I was out. We stopped and I think we ordered pizza from the hospital and we picked it up on the way home and I destroyed that pizza. And um and then I slept. And you sleep that like post
Oh, so nice.
procedure sleep is the maybe the best sleep of your life.
Yeah. It
So
it really is, and that first bite of food too is like it's amazing. I think
yeah.
what's so funny is like if you're gonna lose a deal, if you're gonna lose a client because they're transactional rate shoppers, it's probably the best time to do it when you're on that stuff because you're just like, yeah, whatever, it's cool.
Totally, like nothing phases
Yeah,
me now.
it's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I
So
get it. Well, I don't want this to run too long, but is there anything else other than just like general encouragement that you would have for people that are out there, like they've probably had one or two people tell them to go and do it and they're still not doing it?
well, I just did a short today on health. I turned 50 last October, so I'll be 51 this year. Health is so important. I feel like people put it as one of the last priorities, especially these days. I mean, just you know, uh, people don't pay attention to their health. Life is too short, and you know what? Your health and being there for if you've got a family or a spouse or whoever, you know, you want to you want to focus on health. Health should be number one priority besides,
Yep.
God and whatever else you believe in. But go get a colonoscopy. It's important.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for sharing on
Yeah.
your morning routine as well. And go talk to your doctor. Ask them about a colonoscopy, especially if you have a history of colon cancer in your family. So we'll leave it there.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Ryan.